So for our final lesson for this unit, we're going to go over the congruent right triangles page, right, which happens to be our HL, which is hypotenuse leg. We'll get to that. Okay. Technically, the way this works out as we're going along it, we are going to see that it's actually one of the bad triangle congruencies we talked about before, right? So like a few pages back, it's actually going to look like one of these false congruencies. It will, but because of the fact it's a right triangle, right, because it has that right angle, it actually makes things kind of work out, and it actually works. This is the only kind of sense it does if it has that right angle. Either way, let's get to it. Okay. The hypotenuse leg theorem, right, HL, the triangles must meet three different conditions. Okay. HL stands for hypotenuse and leg. Remember a hypotenuse, where in a right triangle is the longest side of our right triangle, always. It's always going to be across from our right angle. So this is our hypotenuse. And then when it talks about the leg, it just means either of the other two sides of the triangle. These other two sides, right, would be our legs. Leg and leg. Okay. In this case, right angle, this is what's going to work out. Okay. Um, so this way it's going to work, there has to be angles. Okay. The hypotenuses of those two triangles have to be congruent. And there is one pair of congruent legs. Okay. So again, for this stuff to work, right, it has to have these things. The hypotenuses have to be congruent and at least one pair of congruent legs, as long as there's also a right angle, right? So yeah, we're gonna have to go through this. Let's kind of talk about it, and then if you see this stuff, right, if you see the fact that you have like two right triangles, let's draw two out. Let's draw one up here, even like that. And if we say it has to look something like, well, this, the hypotenuse obviously is there, right? I mean, the right angles, they're both right angles. The hypotenuses have to be the same. And then lastly, like one pair of legs has to be the same to another one. Right? Okay. So it does work out. Yes, again, like this looks like one of the bad ones, right? There's an S, there's an S, there's an A, but because there's a right angle, it actually changes it up and makes things actually work out. So again, be careful. This is the only sense it works if there's a right angle, and the hypotenuses are the ones that are congruent. All right, so it has to meet. All right, so let's actually look at the actual problems with examples for this stuff.